There's a reason so many people feel lost by 30. It's not laziness. It's not a lack of ambition. It's a sentence, one sentence, repeated in commencement speeches, self-help books, and career advice for the last 40 years. Follow your passion. It sounds like freedom. Psychologists who've studied it call it something else. A trap. Not because passion is bad, but because of what searching for it does to your brain, your patience, and your sense of who you're allowed to become. And the strange part is, the people who seem the most passionate about their work almost never follow this advice at all. Think about how often you've heard it. At graduations, in interviews with successful people, painted on office walls in soft, inspirational fonts. Do what you love. Find your passion, and the money will follow. It's said with such confidence that almost nobody stops to ask a simple question. Where does this passion come from? And what if it doesn't show up? A few years ago, researchers at Stanford decided to actually test this belief instead of just repeating it. They split people into two groups. One group held what's called a fixed theory of interest, the idea that your passions are already inside you, waiting to be discovered, like a hidden gemstone. The other group held a growth theory, the idea that passions develop over time, through effort and exposure. Then, they gave both groups something genuinely dull to read, a dry technical article. Nothing inspiring about it. The fixed mindset group lost interest almost immediately. Some even reported mild disgust. Their reasoning was simple and devastating. If this isn't instantly engaging, it mustn't be my passion. Time to move on. The growth mindset group responded differently. They stayed curious longer. They pushed through boredom because they believed interest could be built, not just found. Pause for a second and sit with that. The belief that passion should already exist, fully formed, is exactly what makes people give up the fastest. When something gets difficult, or slow, or boring, which, let's be honest, almost everything worth doing eventually is. So, if passion isn't something you find, waiting under a rock somewhere with your name on it, what actually happens with the people we consider deeply, obviously passionate? Here's where it gets strange. Almost none of them started that way. Steve Jobs didn't discover a burning love for consumer electronics in a vision. He stumbled into a calligraphy class, out of idle curiosity. Worked in an unglamorous garage, doing unglamorous circuit board labor. And only years later, did the interlocking pieces of design and technology click into something people would call passion. Julia Child didn't grow up dreaming of French cuisine. She took a cooking class in her 30s, mostly out of boredom, while living in Paris with her husband. The obsession came after the skill, not before it. Even elite musicians, athletes, and surgeons tell some version of the same story. When you actually ask them, instead of reading their highlight reel, the passion showed up late. After the repetition, after the plateaus, after the parts nobody puts in the highlight reel. So, here's the real mechanism, and it's simpler than you'd expect. Competence tends to come first. Then autonomy, the sense that you actually have some control over how you do the work. Then enjoyment. And only after all of that, passion. Most people expect the order to run backward. Passion first, then the willingness to practice. But that's almost never how it actually develops. What happens when you skip that order? What happens when you go looking for passion before you've built any competence at all? You get restlessness. You get a career or a relationship with your own work, defined by constant searching. A new interest every few months, each one abandoned the moment it demands something difficult. Psychologists have a name for the toll this takes. It's linked to something called identity foreclosure anxiety, a chronic, low-grade unease about who you're supposed to be, because you've never given anything long enough to find out. Be honest for a second. Have you ever quit something the moment it stopped feeling exciting? And quietly told yourself it just wasn't for you? That's the trap closing. It's not that you lacked passion. It's that you were taught to expect it in the wrong order, at the wrong time, for free. So, what's the alternative? Not settle for whatever job you have. Not grind mindlessly and hope for the best. Something more specific and much older than modern career advice. It's sometimes called the craftsman mindset. Instead of asking, "What do I love?" you ask, "What can I get remarkably good at?" You commit, not forever, but for real, to building rare and valuable skill in something. You let boredom happen without treating it as a verdict. You let mastery accumulate slowly, the way it always has in every discipline humans have ever taken seriously. And somewhere in that process, not before it, not as a precondition for starting, passion tends to show up. Quiet, earned, and far more durable than the kind that arrives from nowhere and vanishes just as fast. Most people stop searching before they ever reach that point. That's exactly why they never understand the real lesson underneath all of this. You were never supposed to find yourself. You were supposed to build yourself. If this changed the way you think about passion, hit like. It helps more people who feel stuck see this instead of another follow your passion video. And if you're interested in the psychology behind the advice we all take for granted, subscribe. Because every week, we take apart the ideas everyone accepts without question and show you what's actually true underneath them.